It is the dawn of the second century for America's national parks.
Okay, go ahead and start. Okay.
Stewardship of parks benefits immensely from scientific data about park conditions. An important mechanism used in parks for obtaining this data is citizen science participation via so-called Bioblitzes. Every year in national parks, including Acadia, Bioblitzes are organized to collect scientific data over a 24-hour period. Beyond the benefit of the data collected, these events provide an opportunity to cultivate citizen scientists and to engage the public in park appreciation.
We are participating in the Bioblitz, which they do every year. We have a scientist from the Smithsonian who did a fantastic presentation last night. We learned a lot about flying wasps, which is what we're supposed to be collecting.
Basically, the goal is to collect as many Hymenoptera as possible within 24 hours. Hymenoptera are wasps, bees, and ants. And we're also actually doing myriapods, which is centipedes and millipedes.
So we're out here, we've learned to sweep with nets and do a little twirl and collect them in bags.
And we will take them back to the lab at SCU. They can have a hand in identifying them.
Every time I get to interact with a scientist, I feel like I've benefited because I'm learning something that I didn't know before. It just translates to us, which then can translate to our kids when we go outside.
That's a Hymenoptera.
I got one?
Yeah.
So exciting!
You want to do all
Dr. Donald Chandler, a professor at the University of New Hampshire, demonstrates a passion for biological issues in the park.
That's exciting, we found something.
We bring in all sorts of people. There's people that we consider experts, which I'm typically one. And we bring in lots of people that are fairly unfamiliar with insects but are interested in learning about them. And so you have the opportunity for transferal of knowledge, enthusiasm, teaching about natural history of the group.
I am really into entomology because insects just play such a vital role in our ecosystem, and you don't really think about it until you start studying them.
So the specimens collected in the field come into the lab and do initial sorting right there during the Bioblitz, and then they all get identified, get a catalog number, and then the collections come back here to the park's museum collections.
This is of particular interest to me because Acadia has had a history of documentation of the species, the Proctor list. And so we have sort of a baseline of the species that occurred at that time, which provides a lot of valuable information. We can now look at what's common now and look at what was common and abundant historically. And so perhaps the only national park where we can actually get a sense of change through time. And all of us that are involved in biodiversity are familiar with the fact that the species change through time. The whole question is why? Why are they changing?
I'm still a young teacher. I've only been in the classroom for a couple of years, but I'm noticing that kids are spending less and less time outdoors. And so my goal in coming here is to learn as much as I can about the park so I can get my kids outdoors and get them invested in it.
I do a lot of that stuff with my kids at school, and when we take them outdoors and they can't bring their phones with them and they can't bring their iPads with them and they have to be outside walking in the woods and hiking in the woods, they become so much more curious about their world and they just have such a great time.
Smiles.
Yeah.
They're happier outside.
They are happier outside.
You're right.
Which one? Oh, look! Oh, he's a big one. Oh, he would bite me, I bet.
Studies have shown that time spent in nature can be a source of happiness, including stress reduction, beyond the benefits of education about the natural world. What will the future bring for America's national parks at this dawn of a new century? Perhaps Abraham Lincoln had the right perspective when he said, "The best way to predict the future is to create it."